Hey everybody, this is Joseph Vogely of Stoegele Films. I am the co-writer, the director, and the creator of the new slasher sensation Specimen 6, and welcome to another episode of Stoegele Films Reviews. Today, I got something a little different. So we are, and here's Ernie. He wants to jump up on my lap and show you that he's around, because that's all we do all day long. I want to show you. So we're going to do a film review today, which we've done before, but today's going to be a little different. And so I haven't seen this film at this very juncture yet. So I'm going to start this little intro. I'm going to go watch it. Then I'm going to come back and I'm going to film a little thing telling you what I thought of it. So I'm actually pretty excited about this film. It's one that came out, I don't know, 10 years ago or so. Maybe more. The other night I was really in the mood for a film or a show or anything with the actor Katee Sackhoff, who is a really, really, really cool. I think she's badass, and she's been in Longmire, which is on Netflix, was a really good show. She was in, of course, Battlestar Galactica, which really made her jump up to fame, and a bunch of other cool movies like Oculus, The Haunting in Georgia Part 2. I think she's really cool. She is also on this other show on Netflix called Another Life, which is a pretty cool science fiction film. Not great. I watched the first episode. I enjoyed it. But however, that being said, so I was in the mood to watch this movie. The Last Sentinel. This is something that's been stuck in my head since I originally saw a little bit of it, like maybe 5 minutes of it on the Sci-Fi channel, and that was a long, long, long time ago. And so every once in a while, that'll pop up in my head and be like, "Oh, I should watch that movie. I really want to watch that movie." And I know I get these things ingrained in my mind. Certain, I don't know, especially B movies that I'll see a little bit of. And then I'll just be like, I'll obsess over it. And so anyway, the other night I ended up watching Another Life instead, but at the same time I went onto my computer and I said, I'm going to watch The Last Sentinel because I couldn't find it anywhere to rent, and I don't pirate movies or TV shows. It's just not my thing. I don't think it's cool. So I went on to Amazon and I bought this right here. Now I bought it 100% because of The Last Sentinel. I don't know anything about this movie, The Black Hole. I'll watch it here in the next couple days, because it has Judd Nelson and Christy Swanson, which is pretty cool in itself. However, that's not what I'm talking about right now. I'm talking about The Last Sentinel with Katee Sackhoff. So it is about this: no emotion, no fear, no pain. They were the perfect soldiers to protect civilization until the drone police became the perfect enemy. When a rebel beauty, Katee Sackhoff, is rescued by an electronically enhanced soldier, Don Wilson. Don the Dragon Wilson? Because he's pretty freaking awesome. I haven't heard about him for a really long time. He was really big in the 90s. She will learn to fight and think like a machine for the final battle to save the human race. It sounds pretty awesome. Okay, and then I'll do a little bit of research behind it as well. And it looks like there's a making of movie featurette, which is pretty cool since it's on this double disc thing here. So I'm going to go watch this, folks, and I will let you know what I think. So we'll see you soon. Okay, bye. Hey everybody, so I'm back. I just watched The Last Sentinel with Don the Dragon Wilson, so I was correct, it was Don the Dragon Wilson. He was really big back in the 80s and the 90s for doing things like Blood Fist and all these direct VHS movies, and he did a few bigger sort of ones in the movie theater. I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, so I was always renting his movies and seeing him in all these different things as I went to the video store. So it was really cool to see him. And a lot of other people that ended up being in this film that I didn't know were in it. Keith David, for one, because he wasn't billed on the DVD or in the trailer. I couldn't remember if he was in the trailer, but he plays this kind of badass army drill sergeant guy who's he trains these super soldier people, who Don the Dragon Wilson is one, and they raise them to be super soldiers. They have computer implants and stuff like that, which kind of plays a key part in it. And Bokeem Woodbine, which is really cool that Bokeem Woodbine was in it. He's been in lots and lots of stuff. One of the more recent things that he was in was Spider-Man: Homecoming. He played one of the Vulture's henchmen, I guess. He's really good in that, but the thing that Bokeem Woodbine really stood out for me was the second season of Fargo. He gives an amazing performance in that, so it was really, really cool to see Bokeem Woodbine in this. There's a cool part in it where something happens where they think that they just killed all these, what are they called? They call them drone police, and they're like these robot, part human, part robot things. They're like test tube baby robot things, and they're basically taking over the world. And this elite group of soldiers is trying to stop them, and that's what Bokeem Woodbine and Don the Dragon Wilson are part of. And so. Anyway, it ended up being actually a really cool movie. I enjoyed it quite a lot. It is very much, direct-to-DVD sci-fi action adventure sort of thing, low budget, but it's there's a lot of heart in it. There's a lot of cool explosions, a lot of guns, a lot of fighting. Katee Sackhoff ends up being really cool. So she plays as a resistance fighter who ends up joining forces with Don the Dragon Wilson, and they end up both together go and try to defeat this droid policeman army thing. So there was some really cool special effects. One of the really, really cool things was, there's a part where Don the Dragon Wilson, I'm not going to give it away because I want you guys to go out and buy the DVD if you can, or find a legal way to find it. But there's this really cool part where Don the Dragon Wilson has to pull this like microchip thing out of an eye, and they do this super close-up really cool special effect where he cuts into the eye, and I love that. It's kind of like harkens back to good old like Lucio Fulci sort of days, so I was really digging that. There's a lot of other cool things about this movie. So it was filmed in Los Angeles, in both Los Angeles and Ventura, California. And one of the things about it is they film on the Universal backlot, where they film Back to the Future, to that little town that everybody recognizes. So that was really cool. Like right off the bat, it's very recognizable. You're like, oh, that's the Back to the Future backlot. Set. Which Friday the 13th Part 7, the new... No, Friday the 13th Part 6 also filmed at a little bit. You can always recognize it. It was really cool. So the thing that I appreciate about this movie was that it's kind of blue-collar, down-in-the-dirt, gritty, hardcore filmmaking, but it comes across as really professional. And so I really appreciate that. So I forgot to say that this actually came out in 2007, so it was 13 years ago. I didn't realize how long ago it came out. A couple other cool things to address in the film. When they do shoot and kill these drone police, they have these moments where like blood, like the android blood will splat out the back, but it's this glowing white liquid, and that was really cool in certain things. And Katee Sackhoff ended up being really, really good in this film. I really enjoyed her performance. I was totally not let down whatsoever. She did a lot of her own like high wire, when it's kind of like high wire sort of stunt work, and so they're pulling them up on these pulleys, and she's right there with Don the Dragon Wilson, and she's hanging there while explosions are happening. I mean, that just proves how badass she is, right? So I really appreciate that. There's also a really cool, like she's washing herself, and there's some really cool tasteful side boob, and I always appreciate tasteful side boob. I mean, if you're still going for like a PG-13 sort of rating, you want to be on TV, and you can stick in some tasteful side boob, I mean, good on you. Good on you. That's what I say. So, one last thing. So, this was directed by Jesse V. Johnson, who I haven't seen any of his other films. I looked up on IMDb. It looks like he does a lot of direct-to-DVD, kind of gritty, he's just a workman-like sort of dude. So, I'm definitely going to be looking at a lot of his other stuff. I did see that he did Green Street Hooligans Part 2, which I have not seen. I now want to see it because I just appreciate good, hard-working, low-budget filmmaking. And this has it all in there, but there was still lots of cool explosions and blood, a lot of cool other sci-fi elements, like these soldiers, they'll have their personalities downloaded onto these chips, and then they will, after they die, they take the chips and they put them into a gun, a high-tech gun, and their personalities will now be part of that gun that this other soldier uses. And so it's actually really cool. So you still have all this experience of this old pro soldier who has died, but not really, and now is a part of this gun. And so that was a really cool aspect to it. So I highly recommend going out and checking out this film. It was very enjoyable. There's lots of cool blood, guts, explosions, gore, all that stuff, and pretty darn good acting in my book. I really appreciate this film. So again, from Stoegele Films, go check out The Last Sentinel from 2007, and we'll see you soon. Okay, bye everybody.